Now that we've heard the rationale behind the construction of the new Manila International Airport in Bulacan, as well as its potential environmental impacts, let us now hear the reaction and insights of the Environmental Management Bureau in the region. We are graced by two reactors. First, we have the Chief of Clearance and Permitting Division of the Environmental Management Bureau, Region 3, Chief Raldi Pagador. Together with him is the Region 3's Mines and Geosciences Bureau Regional Director, R.D. Noel Lacadin. So,
Yes. Good
sirs,
afternoon. Yes.
makalikasang araw sa inyong dalawa. So, please feel free to take turns in giving your reactions. Maraming salamat po.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm Noel Lacadin, the regional director of MGB3. I was assigned to backstop RD Despi because he's with the secretary right now, inspecting some solid waste management facilities. I think we have to hear the comment of EMB3 because they're the ones who issued the ECC way back in, I think that's 2019 or 2020. Uh, as a geologist, I'm a geologist by profession. The the site where the Bulacan International Airport is located is within a delta, which is predominantly underlain by clayey and silty materials. Ano po, malambot yung lupa. So that is the one comment in our one comment I placed in our review of the proposed project. So the site has to be engineered to accommodate loads, dynamic or dead loads. Ano? Kailangan niyang i-stabilize. Ano? And it is flood prone. Yes, I agree. It's flood prone because it's in the mouth of the Pampanga River Delta. So it's a deltaic environment. So the runoff of northern and Sierra Madre flows through Nueva Ecija and parts of Tarlac, then to Pampanga, to the Candaba Swamp, and then to this delta area. And so also with the Angat River, which is a sub tributary of Pampanga River Basin. So lahat po niyan papunta sa Bulacan and Pampanga area. Compounding the situation is the siltation issue. In 1990, we have the 1990 earthquake. So in geology, we call this the rock cycle, wherein you have earthquakes that will cause landslides. The landslides will fall. The landslide material will be deposited to the rivers, and these rivers will transmit and transport the sediments to the ocean. Hello, am I being heard?
Yes
Yes.
po, loud and clear.
Okay. In 1991, we have the Pinatubo eruption, so we have another source of erodible materials. All of this, some parts of the volcanic debris or the pyroclastic materials were transmitted to Sacobi River, Abacan River, and Pasig Potrero River. So all of these also flow towards the delta areas. And given these sediment sources, the delta should have prograded. The problem is, as time went by, the sea, coastal, the beach area, no, what you call this, the shoreline appears to have migrated landwards. So, as per the study of Dr. Kelvin Rodolfo and Dr. Seringan, UP NIGS and UP Marine Science Institute, the area, the whole deltaic area, including the airport area, is sinking. Ano? It is sinking because of over extraction of groundwater with some the worldwide sea level rise and compaction of sediments. The sediments of the delta are being compacted when additional sediments are deposited. So it's called auto compaction process of your sediments. And the sediment size range is within the silty clay, sandy silt and sandy clay ranges. And a lot of engineering works had to be done to stabilize such environment. So I think that's my reaction to this issue on the Bulacan Airport as a geologist. Thank you.
Thank you. May we hear from Chief Pagador?
Afternoon everyone. I-brief muna po ako dun sa yung reaction sa
I think during the before any big project starts, hindi ba they submitted an EIA where
okay.
where
Yes,
they
ma'am.
identify the
So,
risks and how this can be mitigated.
yes, ma'am. EMB Region 3 has processed the ECC application of Bulacan New Manila International Airport. It is a Category B EIS project, and they submitted their environmental impact assessment study, AI study, and it goes to the AI process from review, and there's a Revcom form headed by our Assistant Regional Executive Director, Sir Salazar, who headed the review committee, and it gone to the AI process. So they presented a lot of, for the flooding, they presented the hydrologic study, and the time of the processing, it's a pandemic, so we conducted the public hearing online. It's online and attended by many sectors. So the application of the ECC application was gone to the AI process, and the review committee has recommended their issuance on something that in the year 2021. So yeah, that's the project goes pass through the AI process.
Did they describe how they were going to address the different risks that were identified?
Yes, ma'am. I think the DI study is you can access in their website. Like it can be accessed through the internet. The submitted EIA study.
Okay, Marian?
Yes, thank you very much po, Chief Pagador and Director Lacadin. So, according to Regional Director Lacadin, the site has to be engineered and stabilized to hold loads, given that it's flood-prone and other land environmental risks. Also, given the proximity to waterways And according to Chief Raldi Pagador, the application of the international airport went through the EIA process, and the study on how the EIA process was conducted is available and accessible through their website. So thank you once again, Attorney Julius Victor De Gala, Dr. Dinky Von Ainsida, Chief Raldi Pagador, and Regional Director Noel Lacadin. Now that we've heard from our resource speakers, I think we're ready to proceed to the open forum very soon. But bago tayo mag-open forum, you guys can quickly hold on to your questions and comments muna quickly. Let's take our group shots first. May we kindly ask our members, our participants, as well as our resource speakers to please turn your cameras on for a group screenshot to be facilitated by GC's Tech Assistant, Ms. Maribeth Jose. Ms. Mabeth, please cue us in for the group shot.
We kindly ask everyone to turn on their cameras and share your warmest smiles, as this will be posted on our GC official page later today. So let's say green on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Green.
1, 2, 3.
Green.
Green.
Maraming salamat po.
Yes, thank you. I think this time ready na po talaga tayo for our open forum. So Ms. Tessa, please take it away.
Yes, thank you, Marian and Maribeth. All right. Well, indeed, it is time to open the floor to hear some of the thoughts, questions, reactions, and reflections of our participants, both on Zoom and on Facebook live stream. All right, please please raise your hand if you would want to speak or, yes, verbalize your questions or reactions, and we will gladly recognize you. Once again, please introduce yourself once we call you and clearly state your question and to whom it is directed. You can also have the option to type your question or comment in the chat box, and Marian and I will gladly read it for you. Rest assured that we will try to entertain as many questions and call participants for them to interact as time permits, following a first come, first serve basis. So I think we have a lot of time, and for those who will not be able to be entertained, well, I hope everyone will be entertained. You can also send your comments to GC and we will channel it to the resource persons. All right, so let's start the open forum. Those with questions, you may please raise your hands and please help us see who are those with raising their hands. Let's have a very productive and open discussion on this. Anyone?
Yes, well, while there are no hands raised yet, let's read some of the questions. There's one question from Ms. Isay Magsarili. If DNR, LGUs, and all those government actors do not protect private residents in the area, who will? Those mentioned are deadly hazard. Who is working to stop this NMIA project? How effective are they? I think na-mention po kanina na parang 90% complete na po yung construction, no? But maybe may reactions po tayo from our resource speakers on the sentiment of Ms. Isay. Yes po, meron din po tayo from Ms. Miles Serrana. What made EMB give the Bulacan Airport project an ECC despite the scientific findings and protests from different sectors? Siguro basahin ko na rin po tong isa since medyo connected naman po yung kanilang mga sentiment. There are allegations that the NMIA did not conform to the procedure stated in Section 2A of Administrative Order Number 42, issued by former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Section 2A states that the environmental impact study should be conducted simultaneously with the feasibility studies. This was not followed in the case of the NMIA. The feasibility studies were conducted by JICA that recommended Sangli Point, not Bulacan. So maybe we could hear like integrated response from our resource speakers on this. And there's a thought-provoking question here from Ms. Olivia Fuerte. So then after all these discussions, after that after the fact, what do we do now? So I think that's a question that will encompass our thoughts about the issue at hand. So ayun po. Yes, giving the floor now to the resource speakers.
May we hear from our government officials?
Yeah, ma'am, I will answer what made EMB gave the Bulacan Airport project uneasy despite the scientific findings and protests from different sectors. Yes, as I have said a while ago, their application passed through the EI process. So there's a review committee for recommended for its approval. So all the protests and negative impacts were mitigated. So that's why an ECC was issued. So I think I think it took about a year or more than a year for them to secure an ECC. So all the negative impacts associated with this project was presented and mitigated. And when we issue the ECC, there are conditions, many conditions I stated. So the answer of the question of what we'll do now is let's monitor the project. The ECC conditions if they are following the conditions the ECC conditions stated in their ECC. So that's the answer of what we will do now. So that's it.
Can I intervene?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Dinky.
There is something that is fundamentally wrong with our EIA system. Okay? Kasi the EIA system requires the proponent of the project to identify what are the risks. Okay? So parang, if you can visualize, ililista yung risks on one column. Okay? And then i-identify ano yung mitigating measures to address the risk. Isasubmit ngayon yan sa EMB. Titingnan nung EMB, tama ba yung na-identify na mga risks? Tama ba yung na-define na mga mitigating measures? It is not difficult to see that they will jive if it is prepared by somebody who had a college education. Okay? It doesn't have to be a geologist, a civil engineer, a hydrologist. Basta marunong kang magbasa at nakakaintindi ka ng konti, makikita mo na magmamatch kung ano yung disasters at ano yung mitigating measures. Pag nagmatch, bibigyan na ng clearance. Pero, 10 years yung construction. In the meantime, nagsasuffer yung paligid, hindi pa nai-implement yung mitigating measures. Di ba? So, iintayin mong matapos lahat yun bago mo i-monitor. Medyo huli na yata. Then also, the other thing is about the public hearing. I attended that public hearing. It was Architect Palafox who spoke most of the time. He presented his very nice drawings. Okay? Yung mga question ng mga fisher folks na nag-attend, hindi naman niya masagot. Wala namang ibang sumasagot dun. Tapos, it went through the process. So para bang, okay, because it went through the process of steps 1 to 10, okay na yan, approved na yan. Diba? Parang it's an oversimplification of the situation. Parang masyadong shortcut. And it's possibly because of the proponent. Masyadong malakas ang kapit ng proponent sa mga those in power. Diba? I think that's what happened here.
Yeah, so we have a reaction. Parang yung EIA is not very effective in kasi parang you know, a 10-year construction, ang nangyayari, madaming mga identified effects will be coming out, pero hindi to nasasagot agad. Kasi sa paper, madali lang sabihin, pero in actual situation, parang very
Exactly.
complicated. Yeah, ang mga identified effects.
Yes.
So,
Can I react, ma'am?
yes, please.
Yes, hindi man po yung after 10 years doon tayo magmo-monitor. There is an environmental monitoring plan submitted, and before the project, before, during, and after, there is a monitoring in place.
Pero kung ang nag-monitor yung nagbigay din ng approval, baka hindi niya pansinin yung yung violation.
There is,
Kasi
Sir,
nabigyan na
it's a
niya ng approval eh.
sir. It's a compost of multipartite monitoring team po. There's MOA between LGU, NGOs, and I think it's Bureau of Fisheries, DPWH. It's a multi sector group. There's a MOA to conduct monitoring before, during, and after the implementation of this project.
Yeah, we have a raised hand here. Mr. Giginto. Yes, please. You have the floor. You're muted po.
Magandang hapon po at magandang makakalikasang araw po sa ating lahat. Ako po ay ang Pangulo ng Giginto Federation of Homeowners Association, Inc. Binabati ko po ang aking mga kasama sa Provincial Government of Bulacan, si Attorney Degala, at ang ating mga bisita, si Engineer Dinky Von Einsidel. Yeah. So, ako po kasi ay isa sa mga stakeholders po na umaattend bilang CSO po noon pa sa nabanggit ni Engineer, yung doon sa National Manila Bay Sustainable Development Master Plan. So since 2018 po ay umaattend po ako ng meeting doon at nakahalubilo po namin yung sinasabi po ninyong Dutch government. Actually ito po ay Deltares, ang company na isa rin sa advisor ng ating dating presidenteng Duterte tungkol sa Manila Bay Rehabilitation. At sinabi po niya, isa doon sa aming meeting, na any development north of Manila Bay has negative impacts on the environment. Ang tanong ko po, bakit po hindi ito na-consider ng EMB? At alam ko po, nasabi po sa amin ni Dr. Brinkman na siya po ay nakipag-meeting sa ating dating Governor Willie Alvarado noon upang nga po na i-appeal itong NMIA na hindi nga po aprubahan dahil sa negative impacts. Bakit po natuloy ito? At alam po natin na since 90% na po ongoing ang land reclamation, hindi naman na po natin ito talaga mapipigilan dahil ito ay batas. Ano po ang maaaring gawin na ngayon para po maibsan ang pagbaha sa kalakihan ng Bulacan? Lalo na po ang Giginto, sinabi po dati na isa kami sa mataas na lugar. Pero nung after po ng land reclamation, yung malakihan ng land reclamation, ultimo po ang aming munisipyo ay binaha na rin. Ang aming pong lugar, after ilang taon na po ako dito nakatira sa aming subdivision, more than 50 years na po. After 30 years, binaha na rin po ang aming subdivision. Alampas po hanggang leeg po, lalo na po sa dulo ng subdivision namin. So, meron rin pong mga subdivisions, lalo na po sa Marilao, na dadaanan din po ng toll road na gagawin papunta dito sa Manila International, sa New Manila International Airport. Hindi ko po nakikitaan na economic development po para sa Bulakenyo, pero economic development lang po ito para sa iilan na nasa mataas na posisyon na po. So kami po talaga ay umiiyak na po dahil po sa malaking problema na binigay sa amin itong land reclamation na to. Kasama ko rin po ang ilang mangingisda na nakausap ko. Dati po, ang kanilang kita ay from 1,200 pesos a day. Ngayon po, ay wala pang 300 pesos ang kita nila dahil sa nung nagsimula itong land reclamation. So talaga pong massive po ang impact. Hindi po yumaman ang mga Bulakenyo. Mas humirap po kami at kami po ang dumadanas ng negative environmental impacts na ito. So sana po yung immediate po, maski po sana dredging doon ulit sa waterways para po mabuksan muli ito. Yun po sana ang hinihingi na namin ngayon. Hindi na po natin pag-uusapan yung legalities na ito dahil nandiyan na po eh. Ang hinihiling na lang po ng Bulakenyo, maibsan na po agad-agad ang problema sa pagbaha. Yun lang po.
Any reaction, sir?
Thank you, ma'am. Pero correct natin na ano na yung project po is not a reclamation project kasi titled yung mga property po. So yung flooding the proponents they conducted a hydrologic study. So what they did is they dredged the two rivers beside the Namiya Airport. They widen and deepen. So para maibsan po yung flooding. So ang ginawa po nila, kinalaliman, nilakihan yung dalawang river system doon sa magkabilang gilid ng airport. So pero meron silang sinabit na study na pag ginawa yun, wala daw effect sa flooding. So meron akong na-research dito na na for flooding in Bulacan, predates the airport project and it's influenced by long-term standing factors such as intense and prolonged rainfall, tidal conditions in Manila Bay, silted rivers and creeks, upstream development, and limitations of existing drainage infrastructure. So, ang solusyon po ni San Miguel, ganun po, drainage niya po yung dalawang ilog na dumadaan sa side ng airport. So, nilaliman at widen. So, yun yung pang-mitigate niya dun sa flooding. So, pero hindi po siya reclamation, ma'am. Kung yung reclamation kasi, dagat yan na hindi titled at tinambakan, yun po yung reclamation. So, correct lang po natin. So, yun lang po, ma'am. Sa flooding. So, yung sabi ko kanina, na-issue na po natin yung ECC. Marami pong conditions yun. I-monitor po natin yung mga conditions na yun kung nasusunod. Kasi yun na po yung mag-mitigate ng mga flooding o yung mga risk na sinasabi natin. Nakapaloob po lahat dun sa na-issue na EC na dapat sundin nila lahat yan. So, sama-sama natin sana na i-monitor yung project kung natutupad ba yung mga inilagay natin dun na conditions sa kanilang ECC. So, meron naman po properly na monitoring dyan. So yung sinasabi ko kanina, multipartite monitoring team po yun na pumupunta sa site at chinecheck po nila yung mga conditions na nandun sa kanilang isinisyo natin.
Yeah, may we hear from the Giginto Homeowners Federation President again to react on this?
Yes po. Regarding po dun sa sinabing land reclamation versus may sinasabi land redevelopment kasi nga po titled. Siguro it's a matter of terminology pero pareho na rin po yan na talagang development pa rin po yan north of Manila Bay at may negative impact pa rin. And regarding po dun sa quarterly na assessment or monitoring na sinasabi ninyo, kung meron nga po talagang quarterly monitoring, bakit po hindi nyo nakikita na binabaha na ang Bulacan, ang buong Bulacan? Ano na po ang recommendation ninyo sa SMC tungkol po dito sa pagbaha na ito? Hindi lang naman po siguro dapat monitoring lang ng monitoring pero wala kayong nakikitang negative impact and yet wala rin kayong ginagawa o binibigay na recommendation man lang or suspension man lang sa mga maling nangyayari. Patulong naman po. Dapat po kayong pumoprotekta sa amin eh. Hindi kami ang dapat lumapit pa sa inyo para protektahan kami. Kasi yan po ang mandato ninyo.
Yes, ma'am. I agree po. Pero hindi namin kaya mag-isa po. Kaya kailangan namin ng mga tulong ninyo. So, kung yung pagbaha, kailangan natin ng evidence kung saan maganda Giginto area. So, Mache-check po natin sa map kung nasa upstream nga ba yan ng May Kawayan River System at saka Taliptip River System. Kasi yung Bulacan Airport, nandun po siya sa river system ng May Capiz, Taliptip, Bambang, and May Kawayan.
Yes, I represent not only Giginto po. I represent all Bulaceños po, especially those who are affected by this flooding
Yes, ma'am.
because of the
I agree po na
project.
tulong-tulong po tayo sana na ano na
Sir, oo.
mag-monitor nito. Oo, para makita natin
Yeah.
yung na
Oh.
may na ito na yung effect ngayon yan. So, kailangan natin ng evidence na kung yan talaga ay ang effect niyan. So, ngayon
So,
na
sir,
mga hearsay pa lang naman.
yeah.
Sir,
Okay,
hindi yan
isama natin.
hearsay.
Excuse me. O, isama natin siguro itong ating
Yes, ma'am.
presidente na
Sama
talagang
natin sa
nakakita
grupo.
on the ground sa
I-recommend ko, ma'am,
monitoring
na ano,
team
na
ninyo.
umattend
Oo.
siya quarterly sa mga meeting at saka
Hindi
monitoring
lang
doon sa site.
quarterly, but maybe open to their comments
Yes, ma'am.
anytime, no?
I agree, ma'am, na sama natin para sila mismo po makikita natin nila kung ano po yung mga ginagawa natin doon sa area na yan.
There are other hands that are raised, Dr. Galang, and then Mila next.
Well, it's unfortunate that yung yung nag-review siguro o yung nagbigay ng ECC could not be here kasi yung mga sinasabi ni PM Mr. Papador na nasa website yung EIA. I guess actually yung mga risks na nandun sa EIA would have been the questions that we're asking now. 'Di ba? And then masasagot sana nung nag-approve. So,
Yes po.
yata si Mr.
I-identify niyo po yung risk kasi pag
Yeah.
risk,
So-
napakalaki yan. Ano kaya yun?
Well, ito yung mga
Yes, ma'am.
tinatanong na namin ngayon. These are the risks and ito yung mga risks na binigay ni Mr. Von Einsiedel, yung observations and experiences na nung president ng Giginto. So anyway, my question is, yun ho bang mga fish ponds? Tinambakan na yun, hindi ba?
So,
Okay, that's water. So that's reclamation.
may
Because
title, ma'am. It's a titled property.
yeah, it's titled, but it's land, it's water that has become land.
O land
And,
development siguro, ma'am. Hindi siya reclamation.
wala bang stipulation about what you can do or not do? Kasi for example, sa ating mga lupa, we cannot cut trees even if it's private property, right? So there
Kumuha
are
siya ng
limits,
tree cutting permit.
right?
Pag inisyuan, mapuputol po yun. Pag inisyuan.
That's what there are limits to what you can do to private property. Hindi ba yung reclamation na yan, even if it's private property, hindi ba yan mali? Kasi when you reclaim land, the water going to the sea has a longer time to travel. So that area is more prone to flooding. And lalo na if the airport, and I imagine this is what happened, the land or the ground on which the structures would be built will be higher than the land behind. Kasi malaki na ngayon ang risks of storm surges, sea level rising, and mahaba yung and then the water rushing downstream will really make the area prone to flooding. So that is the reason why na experience ng mga barangays and places behind are experiencing serious flooding. Hindi na prevent, hindi nakakadaloy sa sea yung tubig from the land and from the rivers. So reclamation that's always the problem with reclamation. the water has a longer time and distance to travel to the sea, and therefore talagang prone to flooding yan. So I was hoping that somebody who gave that ECC would answer that, no? And then that's one. Number two, meron ba na bang legal cases? I asked that of all the speakers that have been lodged in court. Kasi if really this project has gone against some laws and whatever and guidelines, kailangan na dala na yan sa court, di ba? Because, well, that's where legal cases are resolved. So that's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So as I've said, they submitted an hydrologic study. So nag-land development sila, tinambakan yung mga fish pond. So ang pang-mitigate po nila yon is they widen and deepen the two-river system to accommodate yung mga water galing upstream. So nagkaroon po sila ng study na laliman at lawakan yung mga ilog sa tabi ng project para makompensate po yung tubig na dadaan para mabilis ang daan niya paglabas ng Manila Bay. Ganun po yung pinresent po nila na mitigating measure po doon sa flooding na cause ng flooding ng airport, ma'am.
Pero
So hindi magpa-flood yung
ano?
airport. Hindi
Ladder
magpa-flood
dinky.
yung airport pero yung paligid ng airport ang magpa-flood.
Pero marami pong contribution yun. Bukod dun sa sobrang lakas ng ulan, meron tayong sea level rise, meron pa tayong ground subsidence, nag-contribute na po lahat yan. Kaya ganyan.
Given na yun eh. Given na yun eh. Nandyan na yun eh. Kasama yan ng climate change eh.
Yes
ang
po.
wala dapat yung airport. Kasi pinalalala ng airport yung problema eh.
Yes, sir. Pero kailangan natin ng evidence na siya nga talaga ay nagkukos ng flooding. So, yan yung hanapin natin para makagawa tayo ng concrete
So,
na
Mr.
action.
Ralphie,
Yes, ma'am.
madami sa mga citizens now are saying na they are victims, na talagang
ma'am.
they are,
pero-
anong plano kaya ng government to address, o ma-relocate
Yes,
ba
ma'am.
sila?
Yung flooding talaga.
Maano
Talaga,
ba? Oo.
laliman po dapat
Kasi-
yung mga ilog. I-dredge
Kasi
po
dapat
dapat yan.
tulungan natin yung mga tao,
Yes, ma'am.
di ba, na
Yes po.
naapektuhan.
Ganun, I agree po, ma'am. Na ganun dapat talaga. Dahil yung mga ilog natin silted na, hindi na niya ma-accommodate yung mga rainwater na dumadaan. So that's why na nagkukos na ng flooding. Saka isa pa yun yung ground subsidence saka sea level rise kasi nag-climate change po. Meron tayong climate change.
Yeah, so
Kaya
maybe
na-aggravate siya.
government and San Miguel should have a plan for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
people, for the communities who are living there. No?
Meron naman silang mga ginagawa po doon ngayon na mga dredging activities. So hindi lang doon sa may Kawayan River. Sa meron po silang mga activities na ginagawa ngayon sa mga dredging na sila po yung gumagawa.
Oo,
Sige, parang
ginagamit
kulang
nila
pa.
yung ginagamit nila yung dinedredge nila na pangtambak doon sa airport.
Hindi sir, depende sa panambak yun sir kasi sobrang lambot. Ang panambak po galing po yan sa Mindoro pa. Meron kasi siyang specs na yung galing Zambales hindi rin pwede. Galing Mindoro.
You know, isa
Mindoro
yan
po
sa
pwede
weakness
panambak.
pati nung isa yan sa weakness ng EIA. Yung source ng panambak, hindi nire-require ng EIA.
Correct.
Okay,
Diba?
Dr. G, your hand is raised. Do you want
Sorry.
to?
No more. Si Mila na.
All right. Let's
Si
have
Miss Miles
Mila.
na po. Yes po. Miss Miles, you are recognized.
Okay, hi. Good afternoon.
Yes
Okay,
po.
I've been teaching EIA in the graduate school, and one of our interests is the NMIA, the New Manila International Airport. And the first thing that we tried to get is the EIA because we needed to review and look at the mitigation strategies considering the different environmental impacts. But we never got one. We even asked from the DNR because you have to to try to get permission to access it. So when you say that it's in the EIA and everything was addressed by the company, all the issues that were raised probably by the scientists and even by the communities, we don't know really. We have no way of knowing because the document is not accessible to the public. And I think one of the things that we really have to note is that with the JICA study, where the best location for the airport should be, it should have been considered in the first place. And knowing that it was not even the LGU nor the government who proposed it, but the SMC, it should have raised concerns already from the LGU. I'm not sure if the LGU really looked into this because apparently all the things that were presented earlier were the ones that can be downloaded from the SMC site, from the San Miguel. Because I look into it, even my students, and when we look at actually, yung presentation niyo, sir, ano yun eh, from the SMC. So I'm not sure if the LGU really did its work, the EMB of the LGU, to really assess from their end how it will really impact the community. And considering that if you try to look at if you Google, there's already one that is already under water all year round, which is the Pamarawan village. And they said that it is due to the construction of the NMIA, and that can be accessed by anyone. Ang tagal-tagal na nun, ilang SEMS ko na yun na ano. And now you are saying that you don't even know it. Parang it will raise eyebrows from the public. Kasi, and knowing that actually one of my EIA students then was sila yung gumagawa ng EIA for the companies. And he said that many times, they would say that the project is not feasible and shouldn't push through. And yet, because they are paid by the company, parang they cannot do anything but to simply do what the company says. And apparently, there's corruption also within the DNR. Because there was a time, no, na talagang lumabas eh. If you look at the EIA papers, pare-pareho.
Yes.
Halos pare-pareho, even the recommendations. And when I look at the one that is available, you can download it also from the SMC. Ang daming issues doon na ni-raise. Pero not one, you cannot see the mitigation strategies. Yun lang ang nilabas nila. So, and then, of course, when you try to connect it with Duterte, considering the Dolomite Beach, na talagang walang EIA, primarily because it is the prerogative of the executive na hindi napapasas dadaan sa EIA, approve ka agad, especially during the pandemic. Parang it rakes up corruption issues na naman, di ba? Parang
Yep.
it's really profit over people. And now we are now saying things, and yet you are throwing it back to us again. Na can't the government try to do its work, really do its work, listen to the people, listen to the CSOs. Kasi kahit na yung sa nuclear energy, with the waste to energy thing, we have been opposing with all the scientific reasons, which are really back up by data. You're not listening. And apparently it's because of the taunting of the politicians, the higher ups, who are listened to. Kawawa naman ng Pilipinas po. Yun lang po siguro. Can you just give us the documents from the DNR? Can you just give us the documents to facilitate things so that we can also review it, so that we don't have to go through the, all of this, they call it the red tapes, and even if we asked for it, we were not even answered or responded to. I don't know why. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's a suggestion na yung process of the EIA should be evaluated, no? Kasi yung mga gumagawa ng EIA ay paid by the corporation. Baka the corporation can give the money, but it will be government or an independent body talaga awarding that budget to an independent EIA mga experts, no? So maybe isang pwedeng tignan yon. That is the suggestion. All right. Dr. Galang, you want to say something again before we call on si Mr. Simon Peter?
Yeah, I don't know if it was him, but I just wanted to point out that somebody asked, ano ba yung sa Cavite, sa Sangley Point? Won't it also suffer the same risks? Yun lang. Just wanted to point that out because that's a very good point.
Well,
Siguro thank you or what?
yung sa Sangley Point, it also will it will also involve reclamation kasi the existing airport in Sangley Point is too small for an international airport. So to make it an international airport, it has to be enlarged and therefore it will require also reclamation. The point I made when I mentioned Sangley Point is that Sangley Point was identified in response to the need to augment the capacity of Clark. Kasi the decision of government was to have two gateway airports, the Clark Airport and another one. Now, because the Ninoy Aquino Airport, exceeded na its capacity, the Sangley Airport was the one that was identified as the other gateway airport. Now, it also needed further feasibility studies, which will also require an ECC. Pero hindi na nga umabot dun eh. Hindi na umabot dun yung usapan about Sangley.
Okay. Can we have Mr. Simon Peter? Who's been giving comments sa ating chat group? Sir, would you want to verbalize your comments?
Yes, thank you for the yeah, I just pointed out that there's Administrative Order 42, no, na supposedly the feasibility studies, the environmental impact assessment has to be conducted along with the feasibility studies. Apparently, this was not done. Kaya some people that I've talked to who are formerly in the government said that it's actually a violation of AO 42. It's correct that they claim it's no longer reclamation because DNR calls it redevelopment because it's supposedly titled. But we know very well that even bodies of water like Marikina River, when we did a project there sometime in 2019, if you look at the records from the Land Management Bureau, there are really titles that overlap and even cut across the river. So similarly, with sea level rise, I think that definition is already splitting hairs because we know that there are areas that have receded because of rising sea level, rising waters, no, and even rivers. There's recession during times of during the dry season. So I don't know if DNR insists on that. It's the same. It's reclamation is really filling materials. You have to fill materials anyway, regardless of whether it's classified as public land or classified as foreshore or classified as privately titled. It's the same engineering works. So that's the only thing that I would like to point out. No, the certain procedural requirements based on AO 42 that clarified the 1586 PD 1586 were not followed in this case. So yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So follow daw yung
Yes.
procedural yes. Yes, Marian.
Yes po.
Procedural yeah.
Yeah.
Procedural
Miss Tessa.
requirements, no, of some laws. before actually making the EIA. So Mila, your hand is raised again.
Yes, because the public even were asked to help monitor, no, the project. But when you do monitoring, you must have at hand the EIA.
Mhm.
Kasi nandun yung mga mitigation strategies that you're supposed to monitor. And yet we don't have it. Parang conflicted. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so making the EIA accessible to the public, siguro for
Yes.
comments, is very important. That is
Yes,
another
ma'am.
If
recommendation.
they really want the public to help monitor, probably DNR can give the list, the checklist of the things to be monitored also. Although it's not the primary duty of the public, it's DENR's primary duty. Thank you.
Yes, thank you,
Ma'am,
Miss Miles. From our, yes, who was
I
speaking?
agree, ma'am. Para ma-monitor natin, dapat magkaroon tayo ng copy ng ECC, hindi yung EIA. Yung ECC ang monitor natin. Yung mga conditions na nakalagay sa ECC, yun po yung imo-monitor natin. So
That's
may ginagawa
true.
naman
That's
ngayon.
easy.
Oo.
Pero sometimes you have to scrutinize also the EIA.
Yes, ma'am. Yung
Whether
EIA
the
naman,
EIA is
ah,
truthfully done.
may copy
And,
kami dito
yeah.
copy ko kami sa EMB, pero under po siya ng freedom of information. Hindi namin pwedeng ipamigay sa public. Pwede kayong manghingi po sa San Miguel kung magbibigay sila o yung gumawa ng kanilang EIA na consultant. So, nandun po yung copy ng EIA. So, yung copy namin dito sa EMB, unfortunately po, nasa ano siya, freedom of information na hindi pa namin pwedeng ipamigay o ibigay sa public. Yung ECC po, yun, pwede po ibigay sa public.
Hindi ba public
Kaya-
document na yan?
Nasa
Ano ba yung
freedom of
public
information po.
Ha?
Yung EIA study. Pwede nyo hingin po sa may-ari po, which is San Miguel o yung si consultant na gumawa.
Actually po yun nga din po yung nagiging sentiments right now sa ating Facebook viewers, no? So, ayun po sinasabi po nila na parang may oversight daw po talaga sa decision to pursue this project. So, they're asking po, lalo na po sa yung mga nagko-comment po mukhang galing po sa ating mga mababang lugar sa Bulacan. At malala na daw po talagang pagbabaha and yung ecosystems daw po are particularly sa fisheries ay damaged na. So they're asking po if sang-ayon po ba talaga ang pamahalaan ng Bulacan sa resulta ng EIA. Sentiments were also raised po that the EIA law should be reviewed daw po and also transparent po daw dapat sa EIA and available to the public. And has the EIA law has shaped or help the environment and the communities? And given these experiences po, ano na daw po ba talaga ang concrete actions na nagagawa? I think we could link this to the question po ni Mr. Ken A. Gavino dito po sa ating Zoom. Marami ang hindi nagustuhan sa proyektong NMIA, including myself, due to negative environmental impacts as well as people's livelihood. Meron pa ba tayong magagawa para ma-compensate sa damages sa kalikasan within NMIA and nearby areas as well as ang damages sa taong bayan at pangkabuhayan? So, ayun po ang pwede nating malink na question na galing din sa ating mga Facebook viewers.
Thank you, Marian. So maybe we can hear also from the Office of the Governor, yung ating representative, and also from the EMB. Yes, please.
Yes, maybe from EMB or MGB or kay Attorney Degala po.
Let's start with Mr. Raldi
Okay.
Pagador.
So yung tanong po na anong magagawa po natin. So as I have said, let's monitor the project. Kung may makita tayong hindi nasunod sa kanilang binigay na EIA at hindi nila sunod yung nasa conditions ng mga ECCs nila, dadaan siya sa due process, mag-issue tayo ng notice of violation para ma-rectify yung para magawin nila ng paraan. No? gawan nyo ng solusyon yan. Pag nagawa na ng solusyon, okay po yun. Pero pag hindi nagawan, yun yung time na elevate natin yung case sa Pollution Adjudication Board para sila po yung mag-issue ng cease and desist order. So, ganun po yung ating process.
Okay, so sir, you're open to volunteers to be included in the monitoring team?
Po.
And is that okay to give a copy of the ECC
Yes po.
to GC and to whoever is asking? We can give it?
Yes po. We can give the ECC anytime.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Pero
so we have
accessible
now,
siya sa aming website, ma'am. Nandun siya nakapost yung kanilang ECC sa aming website. Punta lang kayo sa aming EMB website. Hanapin niyo po yung kung saan yung tab na yon. Makukuha niyo po yung copy ng ECC ni San
okay,
Miguel. Kasi nakapost siya sa ating website.
all right, Attorney Pen, yes, from the governor's office.
Malinaw naman po ang binanggit natin kanina that the support of the provincial government Bulacan is within the framework of environmental management and regulatory compliance. Kapag po na malinaw ang magiging batayan natin na nagkaroon ng paglabag sa mga binigay na permits and ECC ng EMB, that support can be taken off the table, ma'am. Then, dun po natin pag-aaralan yung mga next steps. So, nililinaw po natin na nakabantay po kami. Nakamasid po kami at noted po lahat yung mga narinig natin dito, pati na po yung mga pinaparting sa atin ng ating mga kalalawigan. Yun lamang po.
Thank you, thank you. All right, yes, go ahead, Marian.
Yes, Vistasa. I think Sister Angie would like to say something po. She was raising her hand kanina.
Okay, I think maybe my mind is very simple in the sense na nakikita ko naman na ebidensya na yung maraming tao ang nababaha sa Bulacan that has not happened before. So I would think that San Miguel would, at least take that into consideration. Baka nagkamali sila sa whatever the feasibility studies and so on. So maybe you need to stop and look and see whether perhaps you really are causing the flood. Kasi how would you want the airport to be finished and then everybody else is underwater because of you? Mahirap ata yun.
Yes, that's right.
An airport that is not flooded because it's up, and then everything else around it is flooded, is no help to the Philippines.
Yes, so there should be, actually, if this
Pag-aralan
airport,
naman ninyo.
right,
Mas
sister.
ebidensya na nagkakaroon ng floods eh. It's to your advantage to make sure that your project is okay.
Thank you for
Right.
sharing those po, Sister Angie. I think sobrang dami rin po nating questions and sentiments po dito sa ating Zoom. But I think in the interest of time, i-summarize lang po natin na talagang ang daing po ng ating viewers right now ay magkaroon po ng transparency sa procedures na ginagawa sa EIA, sa ECC, and everything else involved po sa ating measures na ginagawa para po ma-ensure na safe ang community sa area po ng Bulacan and even those Calawig regions po, no? So, ayun po, since marami po talagang nag-express dito, I think yun lang po talaga ang nag-encompass dito po. And yung compensation po sa ating mga affected communities, lalo na po sa agriculture and sa fisheries po sa area. Yes, Ms. Tessa? Would you like to add?
Yes, yeah, so talaga i-review din yung EIA system, no? Kasi
Yes.
yung mga gumagawa ng EIA, bayaran ng kumpanya. Baka tingnan to kung paano the company gives a certain amount actually for EIA, pero iba ang magbabayad, the money will come from another source, hindi sa company, no, na who will build it. So parang ganun. And open to volunteers. I think madami dito ang nagvo-volunteer
Yes po,
din, no? If we can take note, oo. They want to be involved in the monitoring of the
yes.
ECC. So, at saka, ang tanong pa ni Dr. Galang, meron na bang nag-ano ng court, sue or brought this up to the court to be investigated or so that it can be processed? Mr. Dinky? Planner Dinky?
Community. Oo, community.
Okay, we will have later the...
As far as I know, parang meron na yatang nag-file ng kaso, pero parang parang hindi na-actionan eh. I don't know the background and I don't know the details, pero yung what I gathered is merong mga local community groups na nag-file ng case. May mga fisher folks also na nag-file ng case, pero parang hindi sila pinapansin. I don't know what the legal process is. So hindi ko alam kung ano yung detalye ng mga final na cases.
Okay, thank you. So, MGB, Mr. Noel?
Yes, that's
RD Noel,
Director
yes?
Lakadin po.
Okay.
You're recognized po, RD Lakadin.
Nakamute po kayo.
Yes. Just ano lang po dun sa ating dredging na ginawa, no? It was stated that the company dredged 2 rivers. The problem is pag dredge mo, it's a delta area. It's almost flat. So lahat ng mga floodwaters from the undredged rivers will of course go to the rivers that were dredged because you basically lowered your elevation. So ganun po yan, dapat sabay-sabay ang dredging.
Yes.
Be it in Pampanga, be it in Bulacan or Bataan, dapat sabay-sabay po para may kalalagyan yung mga tubig na nag-overflow. Ano po? In this case, dadalawa lang yung ilog na drenage natin. Basically, you are inviting the floodwaters from Tarlac, Pampanga, and Bataan to go to Bulacan. Ganun po yan. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Dr. Galang?
Yeah, I just want to point out, just to complete the information, ang company ang gumagawa ng EIA, but the EMB has review groups. Di ba, Dinky? Merong mga review teams that they hire, supposedly independent. So they should also be asked, maybe we should have invited the review team now to also come and join us. But as a concept, obviously this project is very does not hew to the rhymes and rhythms of nature. Okay, kung matayo nga yung airport na yan, magdadredge, and then siguro they will have pumps in the airport to keep the water from getting there. You know how much energy will be used to pump the water out to sustain the airport and the surrounding areas. Climate change na naman yan. So I think, again, we have to always try that our development goes with nature, not against nature. Masyadong obvious na this is a project that challenges nature. Oh, gagawin ko ito ha. Ano magagawa mo? You know? So I hope that our country and I hope we will also be voices to ask the government or make sure that our government has development plans that are more nature kind. Work with nature, not against it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. G. All right. Are there other comments? Some more?
Yes. Yes, Dr. Dinky, yes po.
Yeah, gusto ko lang idagdag sa sinabi ni Dr. Galang. Yung EIA ECC system natin needs to be updated. Okay? Ang recommendation namin, the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners or PIEP, ang recommendation namin is dapat may pre-feasibility study. Okay? Before you go into the feasibility study, may pre-feasibility study muna to determine whether the proposed project in the proposed location should even be considered to proceed to a feasibility study. So sa pre-feasibility pa lang, pwedeng sabihin ng gobyerno, wag mo nang ituloy. Wag ko lang gumawa ng further investigation dahil hindi pwede yan. Kasi supposed to be, government is supposed to identify the areas where reclamation can be done and where reclamation should not be done. Okay?
Yes.
The problem is that should be nationwide and it should be for each region, dapat may ganung plano. Okay? Medyo matrabaho siya, pero that will eliminate yung problema ng pag may nag-propose, like nangyayari sa Metro Manila, sa Manila Bay, dahil daw meron ng Maynila, gusto rin ng Pasay, gusto rin ng Parañaque, gusto rin, ng Navotas. So you have what? 33 reclamation projects. Each one has an EIA, but none of them considered the cumulative effect. Nagpagawa ang DENR noong panahon ni Secretary Loyzaga ng study sa UP on the cumulative effect, pero nung inilabas yung draft, merong mga taong ayaw to make it public. So, have anyone seen it? I don't think so. Because ayaw ilabas. Ayaw ilabas yung study. No? Kasi daw may mga masasagasahan. And I think that's one of the reasons why Secretary Loyzaga left the government. Yan ang, I think those are the problems. Merong mga flaws in the process that need to be addressed. And yun nga, yung recommendation namin, dapat may pre-feasibility, dapat may national plan broken down into regional plans of where reclamation can be done and where it should not be done. Hindi naman natin sinasabing bawal lahat di ba? But we're saying there are places where it is so environmentally sensitive that it should not be done. So it's the government's responsibility to identify and define those places and adopt it as a policy so that people are guided, di ba? Yun lang. Thank you.
Yes po, I think saktong-sakto po ito sa tanong ni Ms. Miles na hindi ba pwedeng magkaroon ng national policies regarding developmental projects that are not ecological and not cost beneficial to not even be considered by the government. This should
That's
not
right.
have progress to an EIA. Saktong-sakto po yung sinabi ni Dr. Dinky na dapat magkaroon ng pre-feasibility studies and talagang national plans that are broken down into regional plans po. No? So thank you for that, Dr. Dinky. Anything else pa po? We still have comments and questions. I think po, hindi.
A while
Yes
ago, si RD was raising his hand. Do you have anything else to say,
Yes po.
RD Noel?
Yes, nasabi ko na po, it's about the dredging. Dapat simultaneous dredging para
Simultaneous.
yung floodwaters would have many pathways to follow, and unlike yung dadalawa lang po yung rivers na drained. So basically, we are inviting floodwaters sa Pampanga, Tarlac, and Nueva Ecija to Bulacan. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
po. Also, siguro shifting to the social aspect, hindi po yata ito talagang nasagot kanina mayroon po ba tayong magagawa para ma-compensate sa damages sa kalikasan within NMIA and nearby areas, as well as yung damages sa taong bayan at yung pangkabuhayan? So pagdating po sa livelihood ng communities na affected na po, na malala, lalo na po ng mga nagko-comment nating Facebook viewers, ano po ba ang compensation and concrete actions na ginagawa para po sa mga communities na affected? I think we need a concrete answer for that po.
Yes, that's an important question. Meron bang makakasagot from our government officials? Ay, baka sir, pwedeng ma-raise to kay governor. Pag-isipan.
Kay
You,
Attorney
you can
Degala
discuss
po.
this and kung anong pwede nating magawa, no? Because talagang yun yung kanyang mga tauhan under his mandate.
Paparating po natin, ma'am. Thank you very much po.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes. All right. Meron pa?
Si Miss
Vicky.
Vicky po. Yes po.
In addition to what Attorney Julius said, this is not just the responsibility of government. I think San Miguel Corporation has to do something about this. They have the resources, they have the money, and it is their project. They should help the local government. So it should be bayanihan. It's not just the responsibility of the government or the civil society. I think San Miguel should be very responsible. It should exercise its corporate social responsibility in this aspect, I think. They should have a conscience.
That's a good input. Thank you.
Yes po.
All right. Any other comments? Maybe it's good now we gather all these recommendations and give a copy to the governor, to San Miguel, to the DNR, no? Kasi important recommendations were raised and important concerns. Okay.
Yes po, naka-raise po yung hand ni Chief Raldi. Yes po.
Yes po. Dugtungan ko lang po yung si Ma'am Vicky. Yung EIA po ni San Miguel, meron siyang STP component. Nandun po yung mga tulong na ipamimigay nila. Meron po siyang SDP component. For information ng everybody.
Yeah.
Anong
Pero parang hindi
SDP?
nararamdaman ng
Social
komunidad.
development program po.
Yeah, parang hindi nararamdaman ng komunidad from
Yun
what
nga
I
po.
mga
Sa
complaint.
monitoring po, yun yung isa sa mga tinitingnan natin kung meron nga ba talaga sila, natutupad ba talaga yung pinangako nila na social development programs na project na yun. Meron po yung component na ganun po, yung EIA na sinabit.
Sana maramdaman talaga ng komunidad para hindi sila magreklamo.
Okay. All right. Naku, I think this has been a very productive discussion. Mr. Raldi, nakataas pa ba yung kamay?
Noel
Mr.
Lacadin.
Yes, RD Noel.
Yes, this is not about the airport, but the holistic analysis of the flooding problem in Bulacan and Pampanga. What's this? Tarlacan po. One of the steps in managing floods is to construct small water impounding projects. Meron paparating na po ang El Nino. Again, a mild El Nino is at the horizon, you know. And yet during rainy season we get flooded. During El Nino we have drought, you know. So it's part of the management system perhaps is to do flood retention structures to store water when there is a drought. Yun lang po siguro. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's important. Thank you.
If I may respond to that, that's correct. Kasi in fact, the reason why maraming flood control projects ang nagfe-fail is because hindi kinonsider yung natural hydrological cycle ng mga areas where these flood control projects were constructed. Di ba? So ang nangyari, napalala yung pagbaha. Now, ang problema and maybe to Director Noel, yung floodwater detention ponds is really an excellent idea to implement. The problem is that the DENR keeps on designating lands, even riparian lands and wetlands, as alienable and disposable. Pag dineclare na alienable and disposable, nagiging private property. Pagkatapos, kung gusto mong mag-detention pond, ay ba sasabihin sa iyo nung may-ari ngayon ng titulo, bayaran mo ko. Bilin mo yung lupa ko. So I think also the DENR should reconsider its policy of declaring alienable and disposable lands. If it is riparian, if it is wetland, dapat hindi dinideclare yun na alienable and disposable para magamit nga for flood mitigation measures. Yun lang.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
Doc, if I may, Madam, no?
Yes.
The idea of flood retention structures is, one, you prevent the flooding. Number two, you recharge the aquifers.
That's right.
You
That's
are
right.
leaching, you are recharging the groundwater. So two birds in one shot ang ano natin, yung ating mga small water impounding projects and the flood retention structures. Ano po. Thank you po.
Sir Noel, hindi ba noon talagang meron mga ganyan, yung what they call tabon? Tabon sa agricultural lands, meron silang mga water
Yeah,
impounding.
these are basically soil bonds
They're
where
bond.
you collect runoff
Yeah.
to be used at a later date, perhaps. Yes, these are
Right.
being used. Yes, during the old
Yeah.
in the highlands. Ano, nakikita ko po sa mga highlands natin, highland agriculture practices natin. No, they put in bond walls in order to collect runoff, and then this will be used to water their plants in times of no rain, no, in times of dry season. Ano po. And these bond walls, these mini dams actually is replenishing the groundwater. Ano po, yun ang advantage niyan. And then you delay the flow of the river, and you prevent floods.
Yeah,
Ganun
I
po.
know that
Yes.
that was feature among the agricultural lands even in Nueva Ecija. I went to a workshop sometime in Thailand. It was an international workshop. And they were saying, yan, mag-construct sila ng ganyan, no? Reserve lands for water impoundment. They were talking about it as if it was a modern invention of someone. But I knew that this was already being practiced in the Philippines. But I don't know now kung pinagbibili na nga yung mga yan for subdivisions and all that. Mga tabon.
The
Carbon
Candaba
lands.
Swamp. The Candaba Swamp is already medyo may mga title na po. Sabi nga
Oh my
ni Doc kanina, no?
gosh.
It's very sad that our natural flood retention
Yeah.
basins are already titled. Ano
Grabe.
po yan?
Kasi
Against the law.
yeah.
It should be
Kasi
illegal.
flood damage occurs when people build on areas where they should not build. But when the land is declared alienable and disposable, nagiging private property, and then the owner of the property, of the titled property, believes that they can do anything they want to do with it because private property na siya. Yun ang I think that's the dilemma here. And it's not, of course, medyo lihis na tayo dun sa airport problem, pero yun ang nagiging problema sa flooding of a lot of areas.
Nako, thank you for that. We have very good discussions and yung mga recommendations that came up. We will send this copy of these recommendations to, of course, this will be in public, no, yung ating copy of our discussions here. But we will put together all the recommendations and give copies to the different government agencies and to San Miguel also Corporation. Okay, sana naman we're praying that something really happens, no? Kasi and parang yung development paradigm ng ating mga decision makers should really change. So thank you to everyone for the productive exchange of thoughts on the
Thank
new
you.
Manila International Airport in Bulacan and also in other issues. So maraming salamat. That was very productive. Ang sabi
Thank you
natin,
po.
yes, we will review the EIA system. All right, and then open to volunteers. And thank you for making this, saying this, that you're open to include other people in the monitoring. All right, and then yung flooding, yung sinabi natin na flood retention structures and also the DNR, yung kanilang review their policy on alienable and disposable lands. And finally, the development should go with nature and not against nature. Okay. So Marian, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Tessa, and thank you everyone for sharing your insights and comments during the open forum. Indeed, like Ms. Tessa said, I hope that these discussions have answered our question on whether the airport is necessary or not. Ultimately, if it is safe and ecologically beneficial or not. Of course, keeping in mind the welfare of communities in the vicinity, not just nature-wise or environment-wise, but also as reflected sa open forum natin, sa right to information ng mga komunidad. So ayun na nga, before we formally conclude today's forum, please allow me a moment to drop a few announcements. Firstly, our evaluation form. The GC Secretariat will be sharing the link to the evaluation form in the chat box and it will also be flashed on screen. Ayan, naka-flash na po sa ating screens. Your feedback means a lot to us as it helps us improve future Kamayan sessions. So we would genuinely appreciate it if everyone takes a few minutes to fill it out. So secondly, for those requesting e-certificates of participation, we would like to remind everyone that you must have been present in today's forum, not just pre-registered. And of course, you must submit a completed evaluation form. Third, we would also like to invite everyone to become an official member of Green Convergence. Join us in our movement toward sustainable development and stay engaged in activities such as our Kamayan sessions, very soon our Sauna and Summit, and many, many more. The membership registration link will also be shared in the chat box and flashed on your screens. Ayan po siya. And make sure to like and follow Green Convergence's Facebook page for more updates. Reminder, we only have one page. Ang name po niya ay Green Convergence Philippines-GC. That's the name of our official Facebook page. Lastly, we encourage everyone to be mindful of their carbon footprint. Use the Ako Ang Bukas or AAB Household GHG Calculator web app where you can calculate your carbon footprint and find ways to reduce it. Yung instructions po natin for this calculator web app ay makikita rin po sa Facebook page ng ating Ako Ang Bukas program. You can also be part of the bigger change by signing the Ako Ang Bukas pledge. Links will also be shared in the chat box and flashed on your screens. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Giving the floor back now to Ms. Tessa.
Okay, thank you, Marian. Geez, Green Convergence. All right. Let me see now. Green Convergence surely has much in store for everyone. Especially this year, we are about to celebrate our 15th anniversary. So make sure to watch out for further announcements through our channels. Okay, to wrap up today's conversations and to everything together, here's the very passionate and energetic president of Green Convergence, Vicky Segovia, to deliver the closing remarks. Go ahead, Vicky.
Okay, so there, it seems that we have opened a Pandora's box. We have more questions and issues than we have solutions. But what do we do now, as questioned by Dean Olive of PWU? We cannot go back. I think it's not practical. San Miguel Corporation will not allow us to waste their money and the time spent for starting this project. I think the stakeholders will not allow us to stop this project anymore. So the real issue now is not just about building the airport. People say that it is also a necessity for national development. I think what we should do now is to pay attention to ensure that the mitigation measures are in place so that the project is climate resilient, environmentally sustainable, protective of communities, and carefully managed in the long term. And so a partnership between civil society, San Miguel Corporation, and the government is very crucial so that we can fix the problems of the floods, the livelihoods, the cultural losses as we proceed. This project represents a major test of balancing development with environmental protection in our country. Maganda yung suggestion ni Sir Dinky. So we hope that natural development planners will take this into account in the future. Before we start any project, we should always study the movements of nature and respect the movements of nature. So, till the next Kamayan session, have a holy Lenten season. We pray for the repose of the soul of our dear comrade, Mr. Rene Pineda. God bless everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Miss Vicky, for concluding the forum with such a clear message. Ayun nga po, nasabi niya po is to pay attention para po lahat ng measures ay ensured na talagang in place. And also, importante daw po ang collaboration from all stakeholders para po ma-ensure na okay po ang lahat sa vicinity sa Bulacan, not only Bulacan but also nationwide that are experiencing similar problems po. So back to you, Ms. Tessa.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I'm really touched by all the recommendations and how this forum went, no? May openness ang government at saka meron ding talagang nakapagsalita kung ano ba talaga ang mga effects and risks that we should be concerned about, and we hope that the recommendations that were given will be mabigyan ng pansin ng ating mga government officials and San Miguel Corporation. So GC will have something to do after this comment, but we will keep in touch. So maraming salamat sa ating mga resource speakers, kay Attorney Degala, kay Dr. Dinky, Von Eisendel, Chief Raldi Pagador, and RD Noel Lacadin, and of course to everyone who made our February forum possible. We would like to remind everyone that our next Kamayan will be on March 20. So we hope to see you all again next month for another meaningful Kamayan para sa Kalikasan session. So this is Tessa Oliva, Green Convergence Executive Director, and with me is
Marian Luisa Palo, Green Convergence's Media and Communications Officer. Hope to see you all again on March 20. Let us keep the conversation going, share what you've learned, invite others to be part of the movement, and together, let's build a greener and more sustainable future. Muli, maraming salamat at makakalikasang araw po sa ating lahat. Ingat po tayo!
Bye-bye. God bless.
thank you everyone.